Welcome back. Will Worsham joined us now for this week's Speaking Legal discussion where he answers a viewer's legal question. Don't pay attention if I answer it on air. Let's take a look at today's question, all right? I recently got rear-ended and we exchanged information, but should I hire a lawyer or just let my insurance company take care of it? Will?
Well, there's a couple of different ways that we can answer that question. We need a little more information because if this is a fender bender, just a minor fender bender, a couple of scratches, a dented thing here or there, then really it's better to probably just let the insurance companies take care of it.
Okay.
That's what they're for. They exchange information. Because there's not really a lot of work for a lawyer to get involved in there.
True.
Because the lawyer's got to get paid.
Yeah, but I've also heard that if you get rear-ended, and I guess unless there are extenuating circumstances, it's generally the person behind, the one who hit you from behind, that's going to pay. And yet, if you call your insurance company, they're going to try and find what percentage of fault is yours, and then your rates are going to go up.
Oh, yes, yeah. There's always some angles to that.
Yeah.
But the other question here is if there were injuries involved in this accident.
Yeah.
So if the person who was not at fault was injured in the accident, and they've got medical bills, then it probably is worth talking to an attorney about. The reason you don't really necessarily want to involve an attorney if it's just property damages, let's say you've got $1,000 worth of damage to your car and you want to argue about that with the insurance company, maybe you don't think they're paying enough. Well, by the time you get a lawyer involved and you have to pay their fees, you end up being kind of behind because if the difference was $500, you pay your lawyer $500, it's kind of a wash. You didn't really get anything. So you're really in better shape if it's just property damage to just negotiate directly with your insurance company on something like that.
Now, okay, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, but if there's an injury involved, then what happens is you can claim not only your property damage, not only your medical expenses that you're out of pocket for, but you are entitled to be compensated for the pain and suffering that you experience as a result of the accident. And depending on the extent of that, and you might even have some lifelong injuries, you might have some permanent disfiguration, or you might have several months, if not years of pain, you're entitled to be compensated for that. And that's what you pay insurance premiums for. You've been paying insurance premiums all your life just in case that happens.
Right.
And so what happens then is your lawyer usually gets paid a contingent fee in a case like that. So they're going to take a percentage of your total settlement. Usually that's somewhere between a third or to 40%, and sometimes more depending on how far the case has to go. If it has to go to trial, if it has to go through appeal. But you still come out ahead because your medical bills are paid. So let's say you settle the case for $300,000.
Right.
If the lawyer takes a third of that, they get their share, and then you still get $200,000. Your medical bills were whatever they were, and you still get some money for your pain and suffering.
Okay, you go through the insurance company, and they say, yep, it was our guy's fault, and they're paying medical bills. There's still that pain and suffering thing that I heard there.
Yes.
You can't really determine something that on your own. You kind of need a legal assistance with that, do you not?
Yeah, you do, because there's sort of a range of sort of the accepted going rate, I guess, so that you would speak, that kind of everybody involved in that area kind of understands. And there's some guesstimates on what people think that a proper pain and suffering settlement should be. Right. But those are just guidelines. And there's a lot of factors that can come into that. You know, it's kind of based on a multiple of medical bills as sort of one guideline people go by. But if you've got some permanent disfiguration, if you've got some lifelong injury, you may have something that may require medical attention 2, 3, 5 years down the road. It may crop up later. So those are all the things an attorney can look at and say, wait a minute, you may have forgotten to settle for this, you may have forgotten to settle for that. They can also help find other insurance policies that may need to pay into that pot as well.
Yeah. We've kind of scratched the surface on this. Of course, we have to wrap right now, but I'll have more questions on this like that. What if you feel this later down the line?
Exactly.
Maybe we'll talk about those later. All right. If you have a legal question for Will, you can email him at wworsham@color10.com, and he'll be answering your questions on the show. Will, thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. We're going to take a break. Coming up next is my interview with the Legends in Concert Dancers. Yeah. We'll be right back.